pilgrimage to Santiago isn't really the cathedral in Santiago, although that's where we stop walking. The destination is inside each of us.
Faith is a journey. Generally not something easy, it's a struggle.
I think that the Camino will call you as opposed to you choosing.
I really believe that we don't walk alone.
This is the Camino de Santiago. The Camino de Santiago is a route that extends throughout Western Europe and ends in the northwestern Spanish city of Santiago de Compostela.
People have made pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela, which is the tradition has it that is the place where the remains of St. James the Apostle lie. Those remains are in the cathedral in Santiago, and they've been there for hundreds of years. He was the one who brought the Christian faith or the faith of Jesus Christ to the Spanish people.
This trip is the first time we have taken students. We have tried to make the Camino a complete experience, academically, physically, spiritually, aesthetically.
This is a special group, the kind of kid that would apply for this kind of study abroad, you know, where you walk 500 miles in 30 days.
The scriptures tell us that Christ is the way, the truth, and the life.
In Spanish is Yo soy el camino. I am the way, the camino. People experience that presence of Jesus when they are on their Camino. The Camino comes alive, Jesus comes alive to them. And this one Camino Frances turned into dozens of Caminos. All through Spain, people from all over the world begin their Caminos at different beginning points, depending upon where they're from or where they choose to begin, all heading toward Santiago de Compostela.
A French road which starts in the Pyrenees. It is about 800 kilometers. One does around 15 to 16 miles a day. Whatever you think the Camino is going to be when you start out, you find something else along the way. The Camino spirit is different for everyone.
Todas las personas son diferentes, un camino precioso y maravilloso y que va a cambiar su vida y cada persona lo hace por un motivo.
I'm here to learn how to take care of me.
Physically challenge myself.
To see the world and others myself as God sees them.
You have to feel the pain.
It looks like this.
You have to get miserable. You have to do all of that in order to really come out at the other end enlightened.
It hurt a lot. I got some serious inflammation in my right shin and then my right ankle and foot. That meant being off my feet for a week, and that was really hard to do. And then when everybody got into town, they were like, Calvin, we've missed you so much. And I'm like, oh. And I think that experience helped me to understand, like, I'm still part of the group. I've realized how much of a spirit of camaraderie there is among everybody on the Camino.
Meeting so many people, so much kindness, so many personalities, so many stories. It's the most phenomenal thing I think I've ever experienced.
No podemos ser la misma persona después de este viaje.
They need places like this in which some religious people, some monks, cure them, they feed them, they give them religious service in the church.
Our group was invited to sing 3 pieces of Gregorian chant.
Okay, ahora.
And then we sang 3 LDS hymns. It was an extraordinary experience. The thoughts that I had as I was listening was that of pure Christianity. No matter what differences of doctrine or tradition or experiences we might have, there was something with us this evening, I think we would call the light of Christ, the Spirit of Christ.
So I think that's really helped us kind of not be afraid to seek the same kinds of things and understand that we can have really great spiritual experiences just like they did.
When we walked up to the Alto de Perdón, it's like this ridge with these windmills on it, and just seeing the grain flowing in the wind, oh, that was amazing. It gets called Forgiveness Hill, and it's a memorial to the Spanish Civil War and the people from that region that had been executed. And I was thinking more about like just forgiveness in general. Like forgiveness is an uphill battle, but it's always a positive thing. And you get to the top and seeing where you've come from and where you're going. And seeing that what we had done, there's still so much left to go, for me just kind of, frames this Camino experience. Like, yeah, we're walking 500 miles, but after this, like I still have my whole life to live.
As you walk through these amazing places where thousands and thousands of pilgrims have walked, you get this sense of purpose. You start to feel really close to the Creator and everything that He's done for you.
Pilgrims would walk their pilgrimage. It would bring to mind their lives, their struggles.
I have to make some sensible decisions about my life because my life has been quite reckless and unsensible.
It was a time of prayer, it was a time of reflection, it was a time of getting in touch with their God and themselves, not only in our day, but also 1,000 years ago or more when people began embarking on these pilgrimages.
There's a very real transformation that takes place when we're able to step out of those fast lanes and walk and think and be alone in our thoughts.
The whole idea of solitude, of even suffering, which is part of life, was all brought together in this pilgrimage experience.
So I'm here to kind of take a step back. I'm not using any social media. I'm trying to really just like be present in the moment.
The thing I've noticed is it's super important to be present, which is one of the things I'm working on in my life because I'm not very present. I'm always in the future or the past. So staying present, looking for signs, which of course can translate to what's my path when I'm back in normal life.
The scallop shell is a road marker for the pilgrimage. Sometimes that road marker is a brass or bronze replica, other times carved out of stone, mounted on posts as you go along the way. It was stylized in such a way that it becomes the directional marker for the Camino.
St. James was martyred, and they were bringing his remains back to Spain, as the legend says, and the boat shipwrecked someplace off the coast of Spain, not too far from Santiago, and they found and discovered the remains of St. James. It was also covered with remnants of the sea with shells, and I think that's part of the shell image. It wasn't until Father Elias, who was the pastor of this little church here, Santa Maria del Real Sobrero, that he began to realize that this was the pilgrimage route. So he was the one that started, got some yellow paint, and started marking the route that was known at the time. Elias had a vision that this would be an opportunity to bring people from throughout the world together in prayer and in fellowship and in gratitude and in faith. And it worked.
The pilgrim is expected to get a stamp or a sello. Collecting the sellos comes one of the fun breaks along the way.
I do a small watercolour rather than a stamp because I find that they actually look at my paintings and that, well, they told me they feel a sense of hope and a sense of peace. And what more can an artist ask for, really? And I thought, I'm going to walk the Camino. And after 4 years of being depressed, really, suddenly it was as if Jesus had come back into my life and turned the lights on.
If the heart is hard and stone, the Camino will break that heart open real quick. And all that nastiness will kind of spill out. And a person will have a new heart.
Oh, wow, where are you from?
The pilgrim's passport, as it exists now, it is a requirement if one wishes to receive a certificate granted by the cathedral in Santiago that one has completed the pilgrimage either by walking, riding a horse, sailing, or riding a bike.
I still can't walk without pain.
Something happened.
So I was very disappointed that I couldn't walk on the Camino, but I can bicycle.
That's very flat.
Everyone walks their own speed. Some people do half of it this year and half of it next year.
We decided to do it in 4 10-day holidays.
There's really so many different ways. If you're here and you're giving your genuine effort and you're sincere, then you're a pilgrim.
I think that the Camino, the walk, it's bigger than just this walk.
Everybody that you meet, you smile, you say, Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.
And I feel like it's really heartfelt. Everybody sort of stepped into this sacred space where they've left the world behind.
So you have people from all over the world, but they all say Buen Camino, right? And so we're kind of united in this experience and this purpose, even though we speak different languages. They might not be able to say anything else to us, but they can say Buen Camino. I love that.
Start to climb, and then you start to sweat. But then, at the end of the climb, you see a person waving to you, saying, hey, Buen Camino, Buen Camino. Buen Camino! That gives you motivation.
It's fascinating that everybody of all faiths, no faith, the number of people that make this Camino. Christians, Catholics, Protestant, Buddhists, Jews, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, they all come. They may have different experiences, but ultimately, if they really engage in the Camino, it does affect their heart.
It's kind of nice being out here with all these people with different beliefs because I'm asking them these questions. I don't need like specific solid answers by the time I go home, but I'm hoping to have at least a way to continue my own Camino when I return back home.
There are about 250,000 to 350,000 pilgrims a year that do this route. And your paths cross, and your caminos cross, and your lives cross.
I think that the Camino, the walk, it's bigger than just this walk. It's kind of like the walk of life.
Yesterday I sat down with a man and he told me that he was walking the Camino because of someone he had lost. And he told me about his 8-year-old son who passed away. And he just needed someone to put his arm around him and just be there.
It's an experience of love, it's an experience of gratitude, it's an experience of generosity, it's an experience of compassion. All the things that, at least as Christians, we believe are constitutive to the gospel of the teachings of Jesus. All of this becomes real. Even if you're a non-believer, these things happen.
One moment especially that was really poignant in that way of feeling Heavenly Father's love was in Otebrero. There's the big cross on the hill. I went up there by myself. I just started praying out loud and just like talking to God. It was just like this opportunity for completely honest prayer. Like I just get this overwhelming feeling that the reason why I'm here is purely because Heavenly Father loves me.
The quiet moments on the Camino accumulate into quiet hours and quiet days, provide a rather unique opportunity to experience that renewal of the mind.
Really genuine human connection with a bunch of strangers from all over. And with you guys. Oh, heck yeah. I love you guys.
Company hook. We've come in the traditional road and the pilgrims would have gone in that door. So we're going to go under those arches, and when you come out, you will have completed your pilgrimage.
This is actually something that you need. It feels really good at the end because it feels very lasting. I'm crying!
You discover parts of your own self, of your own being, of who you are really at the core.
Anytime I'm like, I can't do it, then I can be like, no, you did the Camino. Get up.
I'm glad I did this. My feet hurt.
The Camino is a very reverent experience. Simply to focus on what is going on around you in that moment.
You're never alone. You're always with somebody who is also on pilgrimage, people who are on the same journey as you are. Not always even for the same reasons, but ultimately everyone has the same experience.